Binary code, fatal mode, cyber thief, secrets I roll, virtual threat, keystroke kill, identity hidden I fulfill. Cyber assassin, next my prowl, codes in hand, you'll fall. Hack and strike, chaos I make, cyber realm, my domain to take.
It's always odd how some areas will just have a lot of a stone. And this one I just found here amongst a bunch of little chippings. That's what cued me as I started seeing little itty bitty chippings all over in the ground. And then I just followed it up and found a ridge here. And in this ridge, there must be a vein. And a lot of times what people will do is they'll find some precious stone and they'll pull a bunch out and they'll leave chippings, but then they cover it all back over so people aren't, digging into the earth and taking it all. But they do leave pieces around. So I found, say there was a mountain lion that just made its way through here. Looks like it went that way. But that is fresh. Could have swore I was looking at something on the top of this hill up here from across the way. Part of the reason I wanted to come over to this side was because I thought I saw something on this hill. And sure enough, I come across the scat of a great big cat. Which means, tread with care, watch the high ground, knowing they have a 20-foot leap capacity. From the high ground, it could easily pounce right on top of me if it's sitting above on higher ground. And that's exactly how they do. They sit on the top of these smaller hills and they wait for the deer, javelina, different animals to go skirting by in valleys, and they just sit there and listen and wait. And once they see something they like, they go and sit in a spot anticipating where that animal's going to be headed. And they wait for it to walk into the kill zone. And then they pounce. They don't like to chase. No big cat likes to chase. They run out of energy pretty quick. So they'd rather anticipate, find a spot and wait. Catch their prey slipping, then jump on them from above. One of these times I'm gonna happen upon a bobcat or mountain lion or possibly even a brown bear out here. Not a brown bear, black bear. Black bears typically would not be in this area, but in times of drought, they do come down to the lower territories and hunt for better hunting grounds. They will not shy away from stealing food from a big cat, take the kill, that kind of thing. Just well-worn pathways all around these hills. Some of these hills I found obvious huge areas where cats have been hanging out and laying. I'm sure that one over there is a good likely spot as well, top of that mountain. But fresh cat scat, that pretty much tells the tale. It's beautiful out here. So since I found the scat of a very large cat, fresh, absolutely fresh, and it seemed to be headed in that direction, I'm gonna definitely kind of take the observation for a advantage, and I'm gonna scout this area because that's where I wanted to head, and I don't want it to think that I'm following it, because if it's a mother and it has babies, I don't want her to get stressed out and think that I want to father her or find any ill will towards its young or it or anything like that. I would expect it to lead itself to the next high ground, which would be this mountain here right next to me. I think I'll take this middle hill there and head for these hills, the 3 hills there. Just take a minute and scan, see if I see anything. So again, I'm pretty sure I see over on these rocks here, possibly something perched up there. Just gonna stay away from that hill. Any of the hills with real large outcropping of stone, it's going to have crevices large enough and little small cave structures, and that's exactly where they want to keep their young. It's a safe spot, and going there purposely at this point, knowing that it's in this area, is a little foolish. This hill here doesn't have any large outcroppings of stone, so I'm not too concerned about getting myself in a, oh no, there's something in that crack in the rocks. Not too concerned about that. I'm thinking about sticking to more of the higher ridge lines on this little trip here. Not going to be walking in the wash, knowing that there's definitely a big cat in this area. I am not on the menu, bud. Certainly not. Now, of course, I'm out here with my tacked out, my shotgun and my blades and whatnot, prepared. Not a victim, for sure. But, again, not out here to do any harm either. Only out here to enjoy nature and see what I run into along my little journey as usual. You can see all these little worn trails. It's not super obvious, but to me, with my eye, I can see the obvious trails, the pathways that are worn where there's absolutely no growth. The stones are all small, nothing big. It just shows tread, travel, little wear and tear. So I see a huge pile of stone down here at the bottom. So I'm obviously going to go check that out. See if there's a little mine shaft or anything there to see. So it's always an interesting thing is what minerals are being mined here. What's going on? What are people currently doing out here? What have people done out here? I'm always thoroughly interested in the history of these mountains. As the more I hike out here, check out the surrounding hills of Tucson, the more I am coming to believe in this theory that the entire Earth ultimately was ravaged at some point in its history. All the top grade, everything that was obvious and easy to get was gotten. Some superior intelligent race or something had come in and taken everything that they could with ease. They took. They stripped the lands of gold, platinum, palladium, anything that was valuable that was sitting on the surface. And that may possibly have included previous civilizations that have inhabited the earth over the years, that have come and gone, and years gone by. These different civilizations that have created living situations in areas and monoliths and structures. I mean, anything shy of a, grand pyramid or huge mound. Even the mounds were buried, right? They buried the mounds with dirt to hide them. And they found bones of giants within these mounds, right? These pyramidal structures, different monoliths that were created that are of such scale that we humans could not have possibly created them, no matter how much we want to paint ourselves as the grand creators of all existence. It's obvious that something else predating us inhabited the earth and created these things. Something much larger, much more intelligent, much more capable. That's where I start to subscribe to the ideas of the creation by alien creatures as a slave species that eventually was abandoned because we became not only not as useful because they had gotten the majority of what they came to get, but we probably became unruly in time, possibly became to carry diseases that were caustic to them, or as evolution does tend to create these things on its own as a defense mechanism. And creatures that are created in a certain way evolve out of that way over time and possibly become less controllable, or we may have been more docile and maybe this little small percentage of our brains that they say we use, maybe we even had a less capacity, and with the capacity we have now, even though it is still diminished compared to our full capability, maybe we still became too intelligent and too dangerous even with our diminished capability. There's historical records of war between our species and alien overlords in several historical records in several cultures all around the world. And one of the things that I see out here is I see ruin. I see signs of civilization that have been scattered, destroyed purposely, things that look like they may have been created as standing monolithic structures blown to bits. And I've only come to find mostly polished sides amongst fragments and a few eyes here and there carved in stones that tell me that probably was a huge head of some sort that was carved. I found piles of stone that don't belong around the stone that is native to the area. That seems to be transported to cover something. Many oddities I've found out here so far. And they all keep pointing towards something was hidden. Something has been purposefully dismantled and deconstructed as to not be seen and not be known. So many theories have come to pass, such as, possible deals that were struck between our higher class minders within our own race of humans and these possible overlords that still exist here, maybe, in which they have erased their existence through their monoliths and their signs of their being here and their cultures as well as they could, and rebranded it as human creation so that we ourselves think we're the only ones who have ever been here. I don't know if it makes sense, but just a slow developing theory that's come over time and observation. Now, although I just said I was going to avoid particularly that hill and this hill because of a big cat that I had seen the scat, but as I get to this side of that hill, that whole hill there looks to be laden with magnetite. That's that shiny black luster that I'm seeing, which is a fairly heavy gold bearing ore. Gold is found in magnetite at times, but it's also just an indicator of heavy mineral. So, I'm always just curious. I want to check it out. That is literally the hill that I was looking at to see if I saw anything around it. And from the distance, I thought I saw something hanging out on the ledge. But I've come to this far hill and I feel like checking it out. I really do. Sometimes I just don't know. Birds are calling back and forth through the canyon. But it is calling from that direction. This is another one of those spots, man. I mean, you got this stone with some kind of crystalline looking patterns to it, and then you got these interesting curves and stuff in it, and then some fairly smooth edges, but it's all kind of laid down. So whenever I see these kind of odd grooves and stuff in the stone and polished sides, it just brings up questions to me. I'm sure it's natural. I'm sure it's my imagination. But nobody ever made new discoveries without questioning what seems to be certainly so. Going outside of the norm is how you find new things and make new discoveries. It's never by sticking to the narrative. It's always in, well, I wonder, and then seeking, going forth and finding out. That's how new discoveries are made, right? So questioning, observing things with a curious eye, even though it looks plain, sometimes is the way to see things the way that they really are, instead of how they seem. And on that point, I'll say that it is common and easier, simpler, and definitely the preferred way of the masses to just stick with the common perception, the perspective that is safe, that doesn't rattle the cage, that doesn't question the norm. Because whenever things become to be questionable, then it arouses our neuroses, as Freud would say. It would bring us to question the order, and we need to seek an answer, and because we can't find comfort without knowing, right? Whenever you have an answer, no matter how absurd, as long as it's widely accepted, the majority of people will just stick with that because it causes peace. It causes comfort to not wonder, to not question, to just know because you are told and everyone else accepts it, so you don't need to question or wonder. That causes peace, tranquility, and comfort in the masses. This is true in most things. When you question anything that is long-standing, whatever realm it may live within, it always causes disorder and revolt. It will cause you to be hated. You know, look at Magellan or Newton, or any of these people who came up with new theories on long-standing thought processes on how things are and why they are and how things work. And somebody says, no. Like my theory that the center of all heavenly bodies, Earth included, sits a black hole. And the black hole has gathered up and eaten more than it can chew. And within it, it sits and spins. All the heavier elements are chewed up and spit out within the Earth. And this is why gravity works in a 360-degree angle inward towards the ground, because that black hole is literally trying to eat everything on the surface and pull it in. But it can't. It can't pull it in. But boy, does it try and never fail to try. It just keeps pulling. It's a constant. And it pulls because it's churning on the inside and spinning all the metals. All these elements are spinning. That is what creates the electromagnetic field that literally shields our Earth. That is the creator of gravity, and is also the creator of electromagnetic forces. That's my theory. So from that place, that churning, it sometimes, gets out of balance. Especially seeing how us humans are pulling all the metals and the oil and all these things out of the earth and burning them or placing them elsewhere and moving water and channeling water and causing, different things like glaciers to calve off and drift into different placements across the sea, which displaces weight on the earth, which causes a wobble over time. And as that wobbles and the inner core continues to churn, sometimes it'll cause cracks. And those cracks will start to spew out lava from the inner core out. That's where we get our volcanoes and our rifts. But it's also why the plates keep churning and moving and pulling inward. They keep pulling to the inside. Because that black hole wants to eat everything. Considering the force of a black hole, there's definitely pathways of just travel all through here. Something probably lives in this hill. This hill is absolutely laden with magnetite, all this black stone here. It's possibly gold laden. Shiny. Magnetite. Iron ore. But this is my theory. Oh, fuck you, bro. Fuck you. Okay. So there's a hole there. This is one of those spots where I'm always like, should I keep going? And I do anyways, because I'm an idiot. I always like it how it curves up in a great big Fibonacci spiral. Like I've said several times. Yeah, there's scat in there for sure. There's bones and scat and flies. That all says most likely a bobcat lives in there. Lots of bedding. Yeah, lots of flies. Lots of scat and bones. Fur clumps. Definitely a cat, not big enough to be a mountain lion, but most likely a bobcat lives in there. So this hill here has a lot of magnetite stone, big black iron deposit. Very, very obvious black iron. Go ahead and get the hook off this one here. Probably disturbed whoever lives here plenty. Going to that one though, because that has a larger deposit of black stone. A lot stronger like this. Just solid magnetite, right? It's just everywhere. So it is an indicator. When you find magnetite, it is definitely an indicator of gold. I think silver is also close by, but not easy to extract. I mean, you have to crush it into a powder and then use different chemicals to float it out. And very dirty, not economical, and definitely bad for the environment. So not the favorite way to extract gold, but it does lead me to wonder, you know, back some time ago, we have those stories of El Dorado and these places where there were cities of gold. But what if those places weren't just legends? What if they were real? What if they were actually pillaged, but they weren't pillaged by humans? They were pillaged by a different civilization from a different species from a different planet. Just what if, you know? What if all the stuff that was sitting on top, you know, was taken? And this is the result. Just fragments everywhere. Fragments and then the leftovers. You've got all the indicating stone and, you know, the signs that the gold was here. If you come through, you can probably find small pieces here and there. But you got to fight for what you get, because it's not the easy, low-hanging fruit, as they say. That was all taken. El Dorado. It does make me wonder. It certainly does make me wonder. This hill here, wow. Just loaded. Stuck my knee in a cacti. Pick that out later. When you see boulders like this, I mean, you see the shine off that. It's quite impressive. These boulders are just so ridiculously heavy because it is majority iron. Very heavy iron laden stone here. Highly magnetic, ferrous. Let's see, when you get to this one, I'm seeing red. Very strong red color towards the top in the stone. And that's where you really get your indicator for gold. The red and the black together are a sign of the oxidation, obviously, but that's a very strong, distinct red with the black stone. Is something that in my research, I found is a strong indicator of gold. So I'm gonna look around here a little bit and see what I find. Make sure I don't find a fucking cat here. I'm seeing a spot down there that's real suspect for a cat to be laying. Obvious kickback spot. I'm gonna have to get up here and take my bag off. Do a little looking around a little better. So also this sort of patterning, I've been told, is silver as well. Makes a pattern like that. Oh, I'm gonna have to dig this thing out of my knee sooner than I thought. It's starting to get me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at that iron. This is an iron mountain here. Look at this red. Look at that red color. Beautiful stone here. Where you start to get this red jasper almost, but it's red iron. Yeah. Cave structures down here. Definitely bed down areas for big cats. All through here. Yep. Definitely not the smartest thing to do, but I'm doing it anyways. Look at these iron boulders. Just solid iron. A whole mountain of iron. It's a neat find. It's worth coming over and causing a disturbance to see. I may even find an interesting stone or two to carry out with me. Oh yeah, huge pile of cat scat right there. And that is exactly where I thought I saw something kicking back. When I was on that hill looking over, I saw something sitting right there. Little bits of bone and cat scat. Don't see anybody on the hill. I've definitely made enough noise that everybody knows I'm here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this camera down and get all this gear off me so I can actually pick the thorns out of my knee and then take a better look around this hill. So right down there is where those coyotes were going off. And as tempting as it is to go check it out, there's probably 10 of them and one of me. And, you know, even though I do have my shotgun, it's just an asshole thing to do, to go in there and bust up their nice area where they're chilling. Even though I have my protection. Why? Why would I put myself or them in any danger? You know, a lot of people hate coyotes and la-di-da, and they kill them on sight because they go after livestock and this and that, but these coyotes are out here minding their own business. I'm certainly not going to go bother them. So I'm going to go the other way. We go check out these mountains over here a little bit. And I'm going to circle back to the truck because it's probably enough today. Just a little bit more hiking, and found some huge chunks of red jasper, very high grade, crystalline red jasper. Beautiful. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with the coyotes chiming in on my moment that I was having. It's always nice when nature decides to add its 15, 25 cents. But I think I'll go check out these hills over here right quick. see what they have to offer. Then I'll drop down the far side and cut back up the valley to the truck.